What's up, everyone? Peti Kish Hun here with another video. I've been out it for some time, guys. Sorry about it, but thank you all still for sticking here and watching these videos. But today, I'm going to be talking about my thoughts and what I've been seeing on the internet. People have been talking about the PlayStation State of Play and the Silent Hill Transmission showcases that were just premiered May 30th. This is probably going to be an older video, but I'm uploading it whenever because I've been really busy recently and I wanted to let you guys know I'm still here, still making videos, but you know, it's going to be a slower pace kind of content coming out during summer times. But let's just talk about these because there's a lot to talk about here. I want to sum up all these games that were showed off. There's going to be probably some gameplay in the background so you guys don't get too bored of me looking at me and talking over, you know. If you guys like these videos, please, I would love it if you guys could like, share, sub, follow, all the things on here. Really appreciate if you could do that. Thank you very much. All right. So I'll give you my thoughts. To be honest, and straight up, before we go through all the lists, it was very, very disappointing. Probably one of the worst ones I've seen in a long time. PlayStation has been losing it, I think. Not saying other companies like Xbox, Microsoft, they've been losing it for a while. They've been going downhill. But PlayStation is continuing what Xbox is doing right now. You can see it in their showings of their games. They don't have the love, the care, the creativity as they used to back in the day. It feels very commercial. I don't know how to put it to you guys, but it feels very commercial. Doesn't feel people want these games really. It's mostly just forcing it down our throat to just have some entertainment. Let's get into it. So everything revealed in the May 2024 State of Play. Trailers and reveals. There was mostly, I would say, more of like cinematic trailers, but there were some gameplay, very limited gameplay. I'm sick and tired of just showing off just trailers or teasers. I don't even really want these no more. I just want to see pure gameplay most of the time. I feel like they're only pleasing the normies, meaning that they see cool graphics, cinematics, it feels like a movie. I want to pick this up. No, I'm the opposite. I want to see gameplay first, and then we can talk about if I'll get it or not. Want to see the art style, want to see how everything is moving fluently, how interesting it is, stories and all that. Graphics are really not important for me, to be honest. It's always, it's graphics are important. And graphics are okay. It's a nice, it's nice to have good graphics, but they're not everything. You need to build on the gameplay itself to make it fun and have a good artistic view of it. Good, you can have some smooth edges here and there, but it doesn't have to be perfect graphic, fidelity for it to, be great. So, but at Astrobot it was a continuation of the little Astro Boy guy robot when it first launched on PS5. A lot of people like these games. They're like pretty decent platformers. Feels like almost like a 3D Mario game where you jump around, get stuff, and they have little references to other PlayStation games. I think this was fine. They ended the showcase with Astrobot. It was fine, but it's not a system seller. Once again, why do I need a PlayStation when I can play a lot of these games on PC? Eventually, this will come to PC too. So, yeah. If you're a fan of the last Astrobot game, you're going to be a fan of this one, I'm guessing. So, it's just something new and something for the fans that like these games. Concord. Okay, here we go. So, they showed a lot of this game. When I saw this, It was a long one. They started with a teaser. They had a long-ass trailer for it, and then they showed some gameplay with some developers talking about the game. When they started off, I already hated it from the trailer. They had that stupid, forced to be funny kind of stereotype. The character models look like ass. I don't know. The art style is not my thing. It felt like a ripoff of Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what it felt like. So it's like if you had Guardians of the Galaxy with characters from Overwatch, and then you had elements of Destiny and Halo in there, and you have Concord. This game. It's a PlayStation game. It's only going to be an online game, a 5v5 shooting game. Class, like character classes and all that. And a lot of people, I was yawning through that whole time. I just wanted to skip it. I literally didn't give a shit about this game. What I meant about commercial games. This is the biggest kind of commercial push I've seen just for like the beginning part to like bring in modern audience, because they are trying to bring in a modern audience. This kind of gameplay is stale and outdated now. People don't want these character shooters no more. Overwatch was what it was a time being. People liked it when it first came out. Now look at Overwatch. People still play Overwatch here and there, but it's not as big as it used to be. It's completely done for. Most of it because of the DEI stuff and how much they're pandering to like modern audience and a bunch of other, the message in there. If you think about this game, Full Brace is a DEI game for those people with pronouns in their bio. They got pronouns in the game. When you pick your character, robot has he, him. They made literally what people have been saying. Stop putting their woke ideologies in our games and existing IPs. Make your own game. They did. And this is what we got, Concord. This is the game that those people will eat up. A lot of people are going to skip this. I think this is going to be dead on arrival. This game is not going to have legs. It's going to be just a mess, Concord. And I'm not the only one how felt like this. I've seen so much people on the internet talk about how bad this is too, and how uninspiring it is, how commercial, how generic it is. And I agree completely with them. We got God of War Ragnarok on PC. So I was like, okay, God of War Ragnarok makes sense on PC. Why not? But here's the catch, guys. Sony requires PlayStation Network accounts linking for Sweet Baby Inc. influenced God of War Ragnarok for PC. A single player game for PC is required now, a PlayStation Network account. You need to make one. That's the only way you can play this single player game. Not a multiplayer game. They did this for Ghost of Tsushima. You can play the single player game without a PlayStation Network. Only if you want to play the co-op multiplayer mode, you need to have it for that. They had the problem with this with Helldivers 2, where the pushback was really hard on the PC community, and even some PlayStation users were agreeing with the PC players. You really don't need to push their PlayStation Network. They don't trust the company. I agree 100% with the gamers that, yes, we don't trust them. Sony has been hacked so many times. They're not a trusted company, and this is why we don't trust them. So this game most likely probably won't sell as much as you think it will. I think the 2018 was actually, for me personally, I think it's a better game. I don't know. I've seen things about this game. It has its good parts in this game too, but I feel like 2018 is still, I think, a better game, forcing it down your throat that you need to have an account to play these games on PC, which is retarded. It's absolutely retarded. You really don't need to, especially for single player. Multiplayer, I can see maybe more likely if you want to do a cross-platform with each other with PlayStation users and PC. I could see that. But a single player game? Hell no. All right, and now we got Until Dawn. Remastered. Oh, here we go. We're getting to the remasters and remakes, guys, because creativity is completely dead. Sometimes remasters and remakes could be a good thing, especially when games have been lost forever in a long time and they come back, or they bring them back for up-res for young people to play again from back in the day. So remasters are sometimes good, but when they remake it, I sometimes question it, guys. I was actually surprised about this, and I'm happy it's coming to PC and PS5 during the fall, so Halloween season. It's gonna be good. But yeah, Until Dawn is one of my favorite games. I know some people are saying, oh, it's a mid game because it's it's an interactive story. It feels fun because when I played it with friends back in the day on the PS4, whenever it came out, it was a blast. I loved it. I did so many runs of this with friends, and everyone that I played it with said this is the best one Supermassive has made from all of the horror games they make. Usually they're horror-based games, interactive stories. But if it's the same thing and with better frame rate, maybe add a mode where you can play together, pick characters, and hand over the controller to your friends, have like a movie night kind of deal, I think that would be fun too. But I have no complaints with this one that much. But then again, it's a remaster and remake, and we saw this coming, so this isn't new either. Just like God of War Ragnarok on PC, we saw that coming. Here we go. And the next one, we have Skydance Bestmont. I don't really know anything about this. This was a VR game, so yeah, it looked all right, whatever. I'm not a big fan. VR is not my cup of tea, I can't really say much about that one. The Path of Exile 2, kind of like Baldur's Gate 3 that just came out. It's kind of that kind of game, but now it's cross-platform with other consoles and stuff, so yeah, that's a good thing. I don't know too much about it, but that's all. And then we have here Monster Hunter Wilds. So I was surprised about this, and they showed a little bit of gameplay and story stuff and whatever. I like Monster Hunter. I'm a recent Monster Hunter fan. I don't know a lot, like the lore or too much about Monster Hunter, but I understand it and I played it. I think it's fine, the gameplay. In the beginning, I was kind of lost, but I had some people help me out, friends and stuff. I think it's a W. I like Monster Hunter. I started with Rise, which is like a newer one, but I might go back and play World. But Wild is supposed to be the next, it's the open world next gen version. It has the same mechanics as Dragon's Dogma 2. Graphics wise, they use the same engine. I think it's the Ori engine or the Rex engine, but it looks fine. It looks like a Monster Hunter game, so I'm okay with it. Is this gonna run good on consoles? Probably not. I feel like it would run 30 or something like that. I don't think this is gonna run 60. There's gonna be some pop-up issues. Just look at Dragon's Dogma 2. It had so many issues just running the game. It was badly optimized. So I still haven't, booted it up. I want to see how it runs, but hopefully they fix that still, But this is definitely a W. This might be the best thing that happened here in Monster Hunter Wild because we haven't really seen gameplay too much. It was nice to see about the game, and the characters look cool. Just the whole world looks awesome. This was probably the biggest pog from all of them. So yeah, Monster Hunter, definitely the best thing that they showed off. Okay, and now we got the Silent Hill 2 remake. I was really hyped for this game, okay? Because I remember playing the OG Silent Hill 2 with my friends when we were younger. It was a very scary game. I played it. I was mostly a Resident Evil fan, but I know my other friends were into Silent Hill, and I tried to get into it, and I don't mind it. It's really interesting. It's psychological horror, and it's interesting stories. I enjoyed the movies, and I got into Silent Hill a bit, but I'm not like a huge fan. But I do know some parts in Silent Hill, and I do know a lot of things about Silent Hill. But I know for a fact that this Silent Hill, I'll be talking about more in the transmission part after we talk about this, that when they showed this off, I was like, oh shit, It's almost similar to what I remember, but now it's a third-person camera, and they fixed it up from last time where they had those issues. Frame rate was bad. First of all, I always say Silent Hill is not supposed to be combat orientated. It's not. It's more of a slow pace psychological horror. You have some movement here and there, but you don't make it like crazy over the top. You know, you can't do this. You feel isolated. You feel by yourself and all that. So when I saw the stuff, I was like, okay, so it's just copying Resident Evil Remake. To be honest, this should have been a remaster, like a pure remaster, a return to it. Maybe change some voiceovers, keep it the same, you know, update it. But the remake, this is why it's a problem with remake. They change the story. It's going to be the same story, but they're going to change it. That's what they always say. But it's usually not for the better. The only ones that actually did well with the remakes were like Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 2. I was okay with those. And there's some ones here and there are actually decent remakes. But most of the time, these remakes are all over the place. They're nothing like the original, and they're different in so many ways too, here and there. They have some moments that are similar, but it's more of like a downgrade, to be honest, after a while you look at these. So yeah, we'll be talking about that because the internet is also kind of split between Silent Hill 2 because Konami gave the game to Blooper. They're more of like an indie game. They're not peak horror people. They're fans of this kind of genre, but I don't know, guys. This feels like a AA indie title. It doesn't feel AAA. It doesn't feel Silent Hill should be. It feels like it's trying to be Silent Hill 2, but it's not succeeding in graphic wise. I don't know, gameplay, maybe the closest could be atmosphere. The atmosphere is up there being really good, but I think this is going to be a big miss. And we're going to be talking about it more because there's some really bad things also in the background with Blooper and how this game's getting made, guys. So we'll be talking about that. Let's continue. It's an Aliens game in VR. I saw this. Cool. Guess what? Frame rate looked like ass. Not getting it. I'm not a VR person anyways, but just the frame rate itself, it looks so bad. It looked like an alpha build, not gonna lie. So then we had Marvel Rivals, the Overwatch ripoff with Marvels. I've heard some good things and bad things about this game, and yeah, it's coming to PlayStation, so people can play on PC. They had the betas and all that, but I think it's just gonna be a game that comes by and then goes away. It's gonna be that game where I don't think it's gonna last too long. Maybe with the Marvel brand, but Marvel has been tainted. The comics are ass now. The movies are ass. The shows are ass. Disney ruined those, and a lot of other comics with a bunch of messaging, and the stories are not good anymore. So there's no creativity for Marvel, and Marvel, the only thing Marvel that could be hype, especially this year, is the Deadpool/Wolverine movie. But even then, I don't think gonna do that well. But yeah, this is Marvel Rivals. So I saw this and I was like, this is Dynasty Wars with crazy graphics, right? So it is Dynasty Warriors Origins. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, just whatever, you know. I'm not a huge Dynasty Warriors fan. The last one I ever played was the Hyrule Warriors from Nintendo. I played that one. That was the last one I played. And then we got Bald of Entra. I don't know what this was. This was a free-to-play fantasy action RPG. To be honest, some of these games are so forgettable. Like, they feel like Sekiro, Elden Ring, and then, you know, Ninja Gaiden, like, inspired and all this and that. It's just, like, all over the place. Since it's free to play, it's like, whatever, you know? It's okay. Same with this one, Infinite Nikki. So this one was just like an anime style, kind of like a Princess Peach, gave me vibes. It's an anime, cutesy, you know. I think it's for, like, younger audiences. Yeah, it's whatever. It's not for me, but it's for some people that like that. Where winch meet? I don't know what this was. Action adventure RPG set in ancient China. So yeah, I was like, okay, looks cool. Yeah, this and that fantasy with Chinese, you know, dynasty. It was fine. I was like, yeah, that's cool, whatever. And then that's how it ends. That's the state of play. From what I just told you, all these games from state of play, what was like the wow factor? There wasn't. There was no wow factor. There was just, oh, that's cool. Astro Boy, that's cool. They're making another one. Oh, Concord looks like ass. That's cool. Ragnarok on PC. Until Dawn Remastered. We've heard of this one. Now we finally saw some gameplay a little bit. It's like, oh, that's cool. And then, you know, these games, they're fine, but they're not wow factors. And then you have Monster Hunter Wild. It's like, oh, this looks dope. This is cool. And then you have Silent Hill. It's like, oh, this looks kind of cool. This looks interesting. And then, you know, do you understand, like, there was nothing wow that like grabbed me and be like, yeah, this is a game I want to know more about. It sounds really cool. I'm interested to get into it more. I need to see more videos about it and all that, you know? Nothing like that at all. That was the state of play. And I was thinking about the rating, and I'm thinking about 4 out of 5 because Monster Hunter Wild, Until Dawn, and Astro Boy and all that, Bot, whatever, those were like decent. But this was the worst, like I said, the worst state of play I've seen in a long, long time, guys. This was so bad, laughably bad. I was yawning through the whole thing. I was like, come on, they're gonna show me something good. You know, I was expecting like Resident Evil 9 or something, but that could be Summer Games Fest for the next one. So, yeah, this was disappointing. And then I asked the question, is gaming dead? No, gaming's not dead, but the game industry is dying. It's dying to the point where we might see another collapse like in 1984. That kind of like big thing where you won't have any games come out for like a whole year. It's gonna be all independent people working on games. Big AAA games are gonna be going downhill. More and more I think about it, I think we're going to that point where if you don't make 1 million or more copies, you know, usually with these big budget games, forget about it, you know? Some of these are niche, classic, cult classics, you know. I have my favorites, like I want PlayStation to return to, like Sly Cooper, Medieval, Parappa the Rapper, Twisted Metal, like a bunch of their old classic nostalgia games. But now I think about it, I don't want them to do it because they would just screw it up with their remakes, you know, and change the story for a modern audience, all this. Like, I don't want that shit. And I just want to have a fun game. And people say single player doesn't sell. That's bullshit. Stellar Blade sold like crazy and people loved it. You know what didn't sell as much as what they made? Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 sold good, what they say, but it didn't sell what they made. The game was higher to make than what they got back. So it's a loss in that perspective. But they keep on saying it sold like 200 or 2.5 million units and this and that. That's wonderful. But it didn't. How much was the game? The game cost more than how much they got back. So it was a failure then. Because you need to be making, these games need to be turned down. They don't need a big budget like that. That's why I've been saying graphics are not everything anymore. It used to be that thing, but now it seems like the focus is more important in the gameplay, the meat and the bones of the game itself, the gameplay. It doesn't mean graphics need to be a priority over gameplay. Gameplay is king, and you need to show that. And if the gameplay looks bad and you're showing these crazy cinematic graphics and all this, it's not gonna work like that. Enough of me blabbering about just talking about this. Let's get into the Silent Hill transmission. And Konami is gonna show off some gameplay. They showed actually a decent amount of gameplay here and there. And here we go. Sweet Baby Inc. style consultants accused of pushing DEI agenda on Konami. Silent Hill 2 remake. There we go. So, what does that mean? When I was watching this transmission, I was like, okay, looks cool. The music, environment, looks kind of okay. I would say pretty mid. I wouldn't say that crazy. Not like an RE Engine Resident Evil remake. I think that still looks better. It was okay. I'm like, oh, okay. I give it, give it a doubt. Let it cook. Let me see. Look cool. And then I looked at it, I'm like, they're doing a lot of different things, different places. They're everywhere. It's not like the original Silent Hill 2. And then they're doing newer things, which I'm like, okay. So they're doing third person. Then they show the combat, and I was like, okay. But then I got into, the whole thing with this company, Blooper team and all that. And I was looking at the gameplay, and I was like, yeah, it looks pretty decent. I kind of, I might give it a try. Some of the acting was okay here and there. It wasn't like the best. Think about Silent Hill never really had the best acting, to be honest. Pretty corny. And then I was like, okay, they showed off some stuff. And I was like, oh, some of those models look kind of interesting. I don't know why they look so weird, Like here with Learning the Law. My restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill 2, modern cheeseburger remake. You promised me you'll take me there again someday with a side of fries and a milkshake. But that day never came. Crimson Chin. So that's it. So Angela comes up. I'm like, why does her face look weird? Like, even I thought about it first. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but why does she look different? And a lot of the girl characters, again, got the, let's say, the ugly treatment. Base models here, right? So you see, this is the new one. This is the old one. She doesn't have the crazy makeup and everything, but it's like almost like a normal girl, obviously. But like, there's a difference here in face. They like made her face like super round, and I don't know. And people always say, oh, it's because now you're just picking because it's uglified and this and that because of the face and everything. If you know the story of Silent Hill 2, this wouldn't be a problem. If Blooper Team actually knew what Silent Hill 2 was about with James Sutherland and what it's actually about, all the women would look like this, and they would look like Maria. Suicide Squad game dev, Mox Gamer, outrage over uglification of characters in Silent Hill 2. Look at what they did to Maria. She was never over-sexualized in the original, but they are gaslighting you now. Bare midriff was very popular with women when the original came out and seen everywhere. So you see the original, she has the, thing, midriff right there with the stomach. And then this is the new one, the face. I don't know. I feel like, yeah, the face could have been worked on a bit, but it feels like it's just they're trying to be more PC. Like, they're trying to be like not sexualize the character, but the whole reason of the character is supposed to be sexualized, because even as here, Maria was meant to be a sexier. She was the embodiment of what James wanted Mary to be. That's exactly right. And that there is that too. Yeah, so if she looks like this and she's not like she's not look like a sexy, character, then it ruins the purpose of James' manifestation and all that in Silent Hill. Because there's a lot of things. I don't want to spoil too much, but the whole thing is James, sexually frustrated and has problems, and has a lot of things going on, in the head. He's getting messed up. But this is why, like, you can't have this, but you can have this get up. Like, again, it's just downgrading the woman in so many ways again, do it for a modern audience. Because even the developers, Blooper, said they want to have some of these issues that were in the past not come up in the future, like in the game in Silent Hill. Which the whole purpose, the issues that are coming out, the psychological horror, the things that are coming out that all these characters do, have to be told in the most crazy way. If you can't take that, then this game's not meant for you. They're trying to push this to the normies. The original Silent Hill 2 was amazing, but it was devastating. It was a devastating game if you think about it. It would fuck you up when you think about it. That ending and everything about it. It's just crazy. But these normies come in, these normal people, and they like redo the whole thing, and then they think this is the new thing. So they're just, again, like I said, rewriting history again. Please tell me I'm not only one who generally thinks the voice acting is way worse now in Silent Hill 2 Remake, especially for Angela. Here's some comparisons. So they showed more stuff about it. There you go.
Excuse me.
This is the original.
I'm sorry.
It's cheesy,
it's okay.
obviously.
I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost.
It has a tone, the music, the fog.
Lost?
It feels like you're in Silent Hill.
Yeah.
It feels
I'm looking for Silent Hill.
isolated
Is
with
this
these
the right
people.
way?
Yeah. It's hard to see with this fog, but there's only the one road. You can't miss it.
Thanks.
But
Yes?
I think you'd better stay away.
So this is original acting.
This town, there's
The
something
actress for
wrong
Angela is
with it.
better in this. And I thought it was
It's kind of
ass
hard to
back then when
explain,
I,
but-
Is it
think about
dangerous?
it. But
Maybe. And it's not just the fog either.
Okay,
It's...
I got it. I'll be careful.
yeah, this is the original. And then you have the remake now.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I was just...
It's okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost. I'm looking for Silent Hill.
I think you should stay away. This town, there's something wrong with it.
Is it?
Voice is cracking. I don't know. The performance doesn't hit me as much as the other one did.
Dangerous?
I don't know.
Maybe.
The James Sutherland guy's all right.
I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
Gives me a little Leon vibe.
I guess I don't
though.
really care if it's dangerous or not.
That vibe. This original part. The knife.
I'll be good. I'll be good. I promise. Tell him I'll be good, please.
I don't know. The performance for it is not good at all. It's a downgrade, in my opinion. There's more over the top, for the corniness that makes it a bit better. Just overall the voices than in this one. I don't have a problem with the James Sutherland voice that much, but it's all right. But the worst part is, and I'm not surprised at all by this factor, that Blooper team has hired Sweet Baby Inc. 2.0. Hit Detection. Hit Detection is another kind of consultant, a sensitive consulting company for Silent Hill 2 Remake, plus ESG Konami. First of all, why would you give it to a third-party company, an indie kind of company that really hasn't gotten big hits? Make it in-house, Konami. Do it your own way without the ESG bullshit. This is why I'm worried about the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, Delta, whatever, Snake Eater. I'm worried about that. After seeing this, I'm worried about that as well. So not surprised at all about this. Even Remedy's there. As we know, Alan Woke 2, they had that. It wasn't a success as they thought it would. It got so many awards, this and that, but no one really played it. No one wanted it. When they have these ESG stuff in your game, your message, the message makes people want to turn away from the game. Just saying. Just saying. Ever wonder why Maria looks too sanitized? Not spoiling the game, but it's over, bro. Pack your things. When they said modern audience, they mean it. The frame rate flipped. It wasn't steady. It wasn't 60. It was 30. You want to show gameplay, smooth gameplay. I know the game has some slow-paced parts, but they need to have that nice frame rate. Frame rate's very, very important. I know people always say graphics are important. No, not that club. It's frame rate. Frame rate's more important than graphics. Graphics will be smoothened out with the frame rate. So they showed off the gameplay. I was like, okay, cool. And I saw the Maria, and then I saw the Angela, and I was like, okay. They had the little girl, Laura. She was there, and she was fine. I thought like that part with Laura. No, it wasn't Laura. Was Lauren? Maybe it was Lauren. The little girl with James. That part was fine. I thought the acting was okay with that part and whatever with that area. But then, you know, they had the nurses. They showed some, combat. And I saw the nurses, and I saw the downgrade right in front of me with the nurses. So you would think James would see the nurses. They got big breasts, big bust, and all that like they usually did in the original, and how they are always drawn in the art. But now it's a downgrade. They, made the chest size smaller, and there's no figure to them no more. They don't have the hourglass shape. And I was like, okay, I know we're getting a little bit too weird with that because the nurses are disgusting, they're ugly, but they still have the look of a female, the nurse. I don't know. It was kind of weird. I was like, isn't that a downgrade though? Because if you know the story, you would know that he would see them, more feminine, more like sexual in that kind of style. But what do I know? These people are actually fans of the game and they understand the story, right? Well, here you go. Konami posted this. See how the blooper team devs working on Silent Hill 2 preserved while adapting a horror classic for modern audience.
I'm very excited for people to play this game. There's no one aspect that I could say that I want people to experience, because I want people to experience all of it. It's such a journey. It's such a big part of our lives, and I just want people to be able to see it.
Is this the main person that's doing the game? The director?
I think the biggest challenge that we've had was actually how to make the game approachable for the newcomers who have not played the original.
Modern audience.
At the same time, to still retain
people that don't play video games
of the game that player remembers from 20 years ago.
Our goal from the very beginning was to maintain the game's atmosphere while modernizing the gameplay to make it competitive in 2024.
Modernize, competitive. There you go, another time. Modernize.
In the remake, the story remains largely the same. However, with the magic of modern technology, we're able to expand on some of its aspects.
Expand on some aspects of the game with modern technology. How many times is modern in this show? What they're telling about?
Hardest was designing combat. We want to be as faithful as possible to the original game, but also we want players to feel satisfaction while playing, remembering that we need to fit in horror genre standards.
Fit to the horror style standards. Okay. You don't have to say that. Just say the classic horror that you remembered. We're trying to inspire to it to make as similar as possible. But I don't know. The wording is kind of weird.
So when making a game with static cameras, you as a designer have much more control over what players see, where they go, and so on. The change for the third-person perspective was a challenge. A chance for us to expand this world, to show the players new elements that were previously inaccessible, and just make this game richer.
So the main thing that requires rethinking was the fog.
So copy Resident Evil, right? Because that's doing really well, guys. We need to copy them.
Because it was called classic in the original game, and it availed that
the
cover.
fog is very important. That's what makes the game important. I don't know.
It's the word and
looks good
makes
though.
the player
The fog.
to feel
I
even
don't
more
have too
isolated.
many complaints. Do you think the graphics would be better over time? But it feels like a downgrade now. We're going. Maybe because the limitations back then, people had more creativity. They wanted to do different things. The limitations made them more creative. Now you have all this possibility, and I guess you get the status quo when to, get this game out, and they have to rush through it, that they don't have time for that limitation no more. I don't know.
New technologies gives us a chance to do things that were not possible during the earlier generations of video games. For narrative, this is very visible in facial expressions. We can tell so much.
No one cares about the facial expression.
Through just the subtle changes on characters' faces.
They're okay, you know, they're just taking the actors. They did that. Actually, at this showcase thing, they showed the actors who were playing some of the characters. They just literally motion captured faces of actors. That's all they do. They can't pre-make faces no more.
The presented gameplay footage shows a fragment of the city from the beginning of the game and sections in Brookhaven Hospital. The fight against monsters is prepared in a more tactical form, and it's mainly based on the varied designs of the enemies. James is not used to fighting, so his arsenal of attacks
nurses
is limited.
are
Adapting
downgraded.
Your approach to the situation will be the key to success. However, your playing style, among other things, determines what ending you will discover.
It's coming out October 8th. So they showed this. A lot of people were bashing them because they saw this. And I said, modern audiences, oh boy, here we go again. The message. The Critical Drinker, he always has those in his videos. But it's so true though. Like, I'm so sick and tired of the modern audience that doesn't even exist. Doesn't exist. It's bullshit. The gamers have been here for a long time, and they haven't changed. They want the same thing we already had before. And if you don't respect it and change it too much, then you get what you deserve. You're supposed to have feedback. So I hope they got some feedback, but I know they won't change. Blooper won't change, Blooper team. They'll see the feedback and they won't change one thing about this game whatsoever when it comes out in October. They won't change the face. They won't change all the complaints that were shown. They won't. They might get you back and get the game, but you know it's going to have full ESG DI stuff in there. You already know. It's not going to be the same game like when you played it. There's going to be elements from that game, but it's not going to be the same. And then they showed off the movie. The movie itself. The Silent Hill movie. They got the director who did the first movie, Silent Hill. It's called Return to Silent Hill, the next one. And it looks pretty decent. It looks like a faithful adaptation to the game. I don't know how it's going to be, but a lot of it, it's practical effects and some CGI here and there. But it looked pretty decent overall. That one looked pretty good. And I was saying this should have been called Silent Hill 2 Transmission, not Silent Hill, because everyone thought they're going to have other games out of the Silent Hill franchise to be shown out there, which they did last year, but it wasn't shown. So sort of disappointing as well. You know, maybe a bit better, like a 6th or 7th, since we got more info about Silent Hill 2 and the movie. But that's it. That was it. That was the whole thing. And yeah, it just came by and I didn't even think about one thing. And I moved on and did my own thing. Because in the end, it was not so good. Not so good. What do you think overall? This was my thoughts and what things I found on the internet, and, you know, articles and all sorts of things. I know some people are gonna be like, oh, I'm so in love with these. These are great. I'm so happy for the new things that are coming out. You know, all that stuff. What do you guys think overall? Do you think this was a W? This was an L? You know, what do you think? Do you enjoy any of these games coming out or anything? To me personally, I think very, very commercial, very normie kind of choices here and there. To be honest, recently I haven't really gotten into that much games. It's just, I think games are starting to get a little bit stale for me recently with a lot of these things. But who knows? Maybe Summer Games Fest comes and it starts like getting me super hyped again. I see all these announcements and I get, you know, that you know, I get the energy again to, you know, play some games and have fun again. But for some reason, how the industry is going, it feels like every time I see these games I just see more DEI, more stuff I don't want to see in my games, as well as, just greedy kind of, company deals that are going on, It just brings me down sometimes. And that's why I'm like, I've been going back and playing some older games because retro games are coming back. I'll be playing some older games, especially on here and other places. So I thank you so much again for everyone for watching this long. And if you didn't care for it enough and you still watched it this long, I am still appreciative of that very much. Thank you for coming though. I'll see you guys in the next one and have a good one all. See ya.